Hey YouTubers, I'm in my shop right now, my garage at home, and thought I'd document what I'm doing here because a few reasons. Didn't find much information on the internet about lift kits and what size tires and rim offsets and all that stuff for my subject vehicle here, which is a '04 Grand Cherokee. I keep it up at my place in Maine, but I got it down here in Massachusetts while I'm doing a little bit of work to it. Like I say, the subject vehicle is a 2004 Grand Cherokee, and it's only got 75,000 miles on it, so I figure it's worth throwing a couple of nickels into it. One of the things I did is, well, I did not do, I paid for someone, even though I probably could have done it myself. So I put in a lift kit. I went with the BDS suspension lift kit. It's a 4-inch kit, and local shop did it for me. Came with, as you can see, shock absorbers, coil springs. There's a little better shot there for you. Coil springs, the trailing arm. It's adjustable trailing arm, greasable. And it was probably a good thing that I did a lot of this work to it, because this kind of was getting a little long in the tooth, showing its age. Because being up in Maine, you've got a fair amount of corrosion. So anyway, here's a shot of the underside and the front. I guess they had a hard time with the tie rod, so they put a new one of those on. It was pretty well corroded, and they couldn't move the tie rod ends to line it up, so I got another one of those. And it came with the, what's that, a steering arm, pitman arm is it maybe called? I don't know, one and the same, who knows. Anyway, one of those arms came with one of those in the kit, and they put another steering arm on it there. They also put a steering shock on there, and probably not a bad choice because the tires are pretty big. I've got the driver's side sitting on Mother Earth, but I got the passenger side up in the air, so you can see what we did to it. So the tires I went with are Falcon 265/70 R18s. I'll show you those from a different angle. Let me get back up again. And that was an interesting thing, trying to figure out what size tires to go with, what would clear all of the brake hardware and all of that stuff. Let's see, here's a shot of the stuff in the back. I did put a new turbo muffler on, tailpipe. The other one was kind of giving it up. The shock's back here. It's got an extra long stabilizer link. And what else did they do in the back here? I guess not much to the back kit, including the coil spring also. So the kit, I was kind of wondering about, because this is a Jeep with Select Track. Now, I know there's a few different, see, it's Select Track. When you go on the BDS site, some of the information tells you that it's oh yeah, put a trailer hitch on too. The information says that it's not suitable for all-wheel drive vehicles, and I didn't know what all-wheel drive meant, whether or not it was Select Track, Command Track, whatever track it is. So I was hesitant as to whether or not it was the right kit. So I guess it's the full-time four-wheel drive that they caution against, because I guess what they refer to as the all-wheel drive transfer case is a little longer and requires a shorter front drive shaft. So if you got the Select Track, that's not the one they're talking about when they're talking about all-wheel drive. So feel free to go ahead and put it in. If you do have the all-wheel drive one, I guess it's going to require you to do a Tom Woods drive shaft. I guess they put another knuckle in it, make it like a constant velocity. So what I'm close-upping here for you right now is the other thing about the kit, is if you go with a tire, well, I guess of this size, they say some trimming required. Now, I didn't know what that meant, so I guess I'll figure it out, and I did. When I turn the wheel, the back of the front tire interfered with the rocker arm, rocker panel there. So I had to trim that away. How much? Some trimming required. I guess how much is a relative statement, but that's what I took off. It's probably an initial trim. I'll probably have to do that some more. I also had to take and trim, well, that thing, which is the inside. Maybe I'll show it to you on the other side. It's the inside mud guard, if you will. Now on the front, I had to do a similar trim, which, it's upside down. I did a taper trim on this, so it kind of looks like that, I guess. Half an inch. I expect that this is an initial trim, so I'll probably have to trim some more. But, you know, no guts, no glory, right? I want to wheel this thing up in Maine. I'll do all the trails and go out to the waterfalls and do a little bit of hunting and who knows what else. Now the rear is pretty tight too. I expect I'll have to trim that also. That might hit on my test ride. Like I say, we got the weight on the suspension right now. It's a ½ inch of clearance. If I just stay on the street for a test ride, I'm sure it'll be fine. More room in the back. Looks like all plastic, so yeah, that's going to be easy to trim. There's a little bit of steel under here on the rocker arm. I used aviation snips, tin snips, and I got most of the offending material out of the way. But I think to go a little bit more aggressive, you're going to have to use a grinder or a Dremel or something like that. I don't have the center caps on yet. Got the one on the back. Not a bad looking rim. Like I say, they're 18-inch rims, and I wanted something simple. I wanted something that looked OEM, and it seems like every rim out there is not. Every rim out there is for a 19-year-old kid. I don't know why. Not for an old guy, and that's what I am. So I wanted something simple. And I chose these. They were also inexpensive. I got the entire set from Wholesale Tires Direct, and they were $1,080. So it wasn't a lot of money. I guess they were the last 4 in the world. They had to ship them in from all corners of the earth, but they got them all together for me. Shipping was a little bit of a hassle. They were okay about it though. They had put on the wrong address, and then UPS had a difficult time finding me, and I had to actually go down to the UPS depot, or whatever they call it, and pick them up. So, well, they're here finally. A nice tool that you might want to use is this one here. I got it on my tablet, rimsandtires.com, and you can put in the different size tires that you have and plan on using. I had 235/75/16s on there, and I'm pretty sure they were 7.5-inch rims with an offset of something like 40. You're gonna have to Google up, see what your factory rims are, but I think that's what the factory OEM Jeep rim is. Mine looked like that, so if yours look like that, them are those. Anyhow, the offset was something like 6 inches. Oh, sure, tablet timed out. Start that back up again. So the offset, I'm going to say is 40, but I put down 40 because I seem to recall it being about 5.8 or 6 inches. There's the 5.8 there. And I put down, I think 12 was the number that these other ones that I got, the new ones. Put in the tire size, 265/70/18. It was a 9-inch wide rim, and it's got the offset of 12, so the backspace now is 5 point, I think that says 7 there. And it tells you that it clears the hardware, and tells you, I don't know, all kinds about it. Clears the brake hardware, and what how much more it's going to stick out, and so forth and so on, and some comparative whatnot there below. You can pause the video if you're really interested in seeing those numbers. But basically the tire's 1.7 inches or so taller than the OEM ones on a radius. So it sits pretty proud. Now the other thing I was wondering about is the offset being too far out. I get this thing registered in Maine, so they're not as strict as Massachusetts. That's how far it sticks out. I'm good with that. I don't care. And the back one is just like that. So I like that. I think that's a good amount of offset. One thing I didn't think about is that when you lift a vehicle, the track, yeah, that's the track, the width of the center line of the tires comes in, because the vehicle goes up, and it's on independent control arms. The wheels kind of turned a little bit to the right, but you know, you get the idea. It sticks out a little bit, get a little bit of clearance. Probably going to need some more trimming. I think it looks good. Oh, another interesting data point. Got a friend of mine with a Yukon. Even on the stock rims, the rockers sat higher than the Yukon. Right now, from the ground, we're looking at, well, I guess that's 26 to the rocker. 26. So you gotta definitely, yeah, there we go. Definitely got to jump up and into it now, which is pretty cool. That's kind of what I was looking for. Like I say, the reason why I did this was for a little bit of data, and maybe to help other people, so that way you'll know what size lift to put in, what size tires. Oh, hey, another thing too. These are the P series tires. I got the Falcons on there. Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws. Now I got the P series, it's P265s. One thing I did discover is that if you do go with the LT series, they do sit taller. But I thought this was plenty, and I think you'll agree. It's plenty enough height. So P series is probably what you want. If you want to even go smaller or more wheelability, great. But LTs I think would be too big. Well, there's that little piece of the interior splash guard of the fender well that I had to take away. Here's another interesting data point from the ground to the transfer case. Here we go. There's 0. Transfer case is, I think we could agree on 15 inches. That's the transfer case support. So, yeah, 15 inches of clearance. That'll get me over some rocks and logs and whatnot. So, anyway, that's what it looks like. I think I'm going to be pretty pleased with the way it rides. These things are kind of squishy grocery getters anyhow, so it firmed it up, gave it a little bit of more of a man-like ride, and I'm looking forward to trying it out. So, if anything changes, I got any more updates, watch my channel. But I'm going to get these bitch kitties slapped on and take her for a spin. See ya!